If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description. Kanye West is supposed to release his new album Donda 2 next week on February 22nd. That is the Tuesday. Still kind of weird that it's a Tuesday, but apparently that has some meaning to him. Whether he's going to drop the album on that day or not is a question that I went over in my last video on this, because Kanye has done some, very questionable stuff when it came to music releases and not coming through on his promises in the past. So if you want to, check out all the information evidence we have on that, make sure to check out that last video I made. I got a playlist with all the Donda 2 videos on my channel. Go check that out. But today I wanted to focus on just the music itself, the content that we got on this record that I expect, and my whole expectations and my wishes for this album. So let's jump straight into it. So Donda 2 is of course a spiritual successor to the first Donda. The first Donda was kind of a messy playlist, but still with underlying themes that narrated the whole project, and it did again have that gospel sound that was eminent in a lot of the tracks on there. So likely some of that gospel sound will also carry over onto the second installment in the series. What is different though is that this time around, Future is the executive producer of the record. That means that we'll likely see some more trap influence on this thing. Now, of course, Future is not producing it himself. An executive producer has more like the role of someone overseeing the whole thing and making sure that everybody and everything is working well together. But, having someone like Future in there who's predominantly done only trap in his career and has influenced that sound quite a lot, we can also expect to see some of that influence on this project, no doubt. So this combination between that old Kanye gospel sound and this new, trap-infused version of it now with Future is, I think, it can be a very good mix. Now, it could also just be weird and trying to be something that it's not, but I think having some more modern elements in there coming from the influence of Future can help this project quite a bit. For example, I thought some of the elements we've had on the first Donda, like Kanye's verse on Off the Grid, which was a drill beat that then perfectly transitioned into something that Kanye could rap on, Kanye did really well on there, and it was not trying to be like a, new trendy hip drill beat that Kanye now wants to spit over to get famous and viral on TikTok, but it actually worked. It took some of these modern elements and still made them sound like they were timeless, and Kanye could perform very well on them. So I hope that we see more of those elements on this new record as well. We of course can't say anything precisely about the content that's going to be on here because we haven't gotten any actual singles or leaks for this thing yet. Now, there is a listening party, release party taking place, so I made a video on that as well. Go check that one out. So we might hear some new snippets when we actually do come around to that listening party, and if that does happen, I'll be sure to keep y'all updated, so stay subscribed if you want to always stay up to date with these Donda 2 and Kanye news. We do have some material to go off of though, because Fabio Foreign released that City of Gods track with Kanye West and Alicia Keys, and on there again we can see Kanye spitting over a drill beat, but it doesn't sound like weird or cringe or anything like that. It sounds timeless and grand, but still with those modern elements in there, and that is just what I said earlier as well. That is kind of where I want this Donda 2 record to be grand and epic and timeless, but at the same time still not to the elements that were popular at the time of its making, which is today, 2022. It's also not sure in what way this new record will be, concerning his mother, because the first one was obviously named after his mother and also had some elements on there that were concerning his mother. For example, Andre 3 Sacks directly addressing her on that Life of the Party track that got leaked afterwards that was supposed to be on the record. So there were those references, but if this is now just another album just getting the title Donda because the first one did pretty well, then I don't think that will be a very good move. So in some way, it's also got to connect to the theme of the first Donda as well. At least that's what I hope for. Otherwise, it would really not make a lot of sense. Kanye has a very rich and famous discography to live up to. So every new Kanye release is, of course, being watched with, in great detail and people trying to, find something that is remotely out of place. So I don't think that we should get our expectations and hopes and wishes up too high. But with someone like Kanye, you can't really tell someone to be like, yo, don't expect a lot from him. He's just a beginner. No, this man, actually has to come through with some. I think the first Donda completely fulfilled his expectations. We were expecting something to be grand and epic, like, from the release parties as well. And it's going to be interesting to see what the release parties for Donda 2 will now bring, because maybe we can see the same patterns and same themes in there as well. But with every new Kanye release, we're of course like, yo, is this going to be the next Twisted Fantasy? Is this going to be the next thing that's going to influence people in 10 years? And at this point, we don't really know. All we can do is just, stay hyped for this thing. Always be on the lookout for any new information and snippets and leaks and stuff like that we can find that don't, actually spoil the album that much, but that just get us more hyped and more excited for this thing. And that's exactly what I'm here for. Always giving you all the news on this and my takes on this. One of the concerns I have that I also expressed in yet another video, go watch that as well after this one, is that all the stuff that's happening in his private life right now, all the stories with Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian and Kid Cudi, are going to influence how this thing is going to sound, because we really don't want a Kanye record where he's just being like a petty ex and trying to get back with his wife and complaining about the new dude that she's with. And now Kid Cudi was also seen with Pete Davidson, so now he's mad at him as well. All kind of childish play, and I just don't hope that that's going to influence how this album will sound at all. I want a mature Kanye who knows what he's doing, who has a mission with this record that is named after his mother, so he got to really live up to that and not drift off in a direction that is not focused anymore, not to the point where he wanted this record to be anymore. That is one of the main concerns that I have with this thing, but I made an in-depth video talking about those thoughts in my video, talking about why I'm worried about this album. So yeah, I hope that on this new record, now being executive produced by Future, we'll see more of that Kanye on modern trap and drill beats, but still making it classy and timeless in a sense. That is what I'm hoping for. That is the snippets that we got so far with the City of Gods feature, for example, and that's also the parts that I enjoyed the most on the first Donda. Also, I don't want this album to just be, his current private state, where his headspace is at, just reflecting that, because I think that would be a very unhealthy way to deal with his private problems, but it would also just make for not as good of a record as this could be. But all in all, I'm of course still very excited. I have high expectations, high hopes for this thing, but I also know with Kanye that I should just take whatever we get, because this man is just himself. So yeah, that's my expectations, my worries, my thoughts and theories about this record, and what I hope it to be and what I expect it to be. Now I want to know what you think about this. Are you excited for Donda 2? What are your expectations for this album? What do you hope for to see on here? What do you wish for? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? If so, then why? Please let me know. I want to start a conversation about this album, of course, in the comments down below. Also, go join the Discord in the description to join our hip-hop community, where we'll be talking about this record a lot more on the server. So yeah, all of that, let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and you'll take care.